Hey guys, Tina here, the Critical Virgo. Today I'm going to start something that was nicknamed by Lola. I asked all of you guys to help me out with some sort of clever, cute name like I did for Fragmas. She called this Fraguary, which will actually work for January and February, and I have a deadline to meet the 4,000 hours by February 20th. So we're gonna be calling this Fraguary. And like I said, I'm gonna go off of the whole sample thing and do something that's been requested multiple times on my channel. It's something that I've spoken about, but I've never actually reviewed, which is so like crazy to me because this was my favorite. This is one of my favorite leather fragrances ever. I think this is like my number one. This is my number one, actually. It is, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but I don't know if it'll focus. Mancera Wild Leather. And like I said, this is one of my favorites. Actually, I should stop saying this is one of. This is my favorite leather fragrance ever. This was my scent of the day. And yes, I do carry the full bottle with me, and I'll go into that in a minute. So the notes on this one are bergamot, rose, violet, patchouli, amber, leather, oak moss, gaiac, and white musk. I don't really agree with the description that like Lucky Scent gives. This is not something that would turn heads gently as like a gentle purr. This is a really bold, in-your-face leather fragrance. I say that it's unisex. Really depends on how you feel about leather fragrances. Now, this, like I said, is very bold, so you have to be really confident to pull this one off. This is definitely not something that a timid person could wear. I dress this one up and I dress it down, but again, you do have to be very sure of yourself and confident, because if you're not, then this fragrance will wear you. You will not wear this fragrance. When I first spray this on, I get a lot of this really zesty bergamot. The things that I notice the most, like that just really jump out at me, are obviously leather. You get a ton of patchouli in this one. This is a very skanky fragrance, okay? It's heavy on the musk. It's very animalic. I get some rose in there and just a hint of violet. It's really not very prominent in here. Now, my relationship with this fragrance wasn't always a good one. I got a sample from Lucky Scent. I purchased one, and I'll be honest, the first time I smelled this, I hated it. I put it on and I said to myself, what the hell did I just put on my skin? I really wanted to just scrub it off. I let it sit, and the first day I wore it, I was like, okay. I still didn't get the hype about it, and I really wanted to love it. So I wore it another time, and I already kind of knew like what to expect, so I didn't hate it off the bat, but I wasn't like, this is the most amazing leather fragrance I've ever smelled in my life. This is my first very bold leather fragrance. This is probably the boldest one I own in my whole collection, and it took a lot of wear time and I would just say it took a lot of wear time to really learn how to appreciate it and to understand what it's about. This is definitely not the most work-friendly scent. I wear it to work because I don't work in like a hospital setting or anything. I work in a very fragrance-friendly office, but even though they are fragrance-friendly, I do still have to be mindful of them. And every time I wear this, I get a ton of compliments. Like today, I got two unsolicited compliments. I sprayed this when I was driving in on the way to work to give it some time to settle down because I do have a 40-minute drive. I got into the elevator, and someone said, oh, it smells lovely. I'm like, wow, okay. I was making my breakfast, and then I got another compliment. And I've actually had the girls in my office try this out, and they all really enjoyed it. And it's kind of like one of those things where they didn't really expect to like it so much, but they did enjoy it very much. I have sent this to a few other fragrance reviewers that are on YouTube, and it's funny, one of my favorite male fragrance reviewers, Eric, Centrifugal Force, he had the same kind of reaction that I had. He hated it in the beginning, and after a few wearings he ended up loving it just as much as I do, and we had very similar reactions to a few other Mancera fragrances. So it's not a very uncommon feeling. You do have to take your time and learn to understand them. Now when this thing dries down, I get a lot of leather, rose, and it's like one of those classic Mancera roses that I've come to just love, and you either love it or you hate it. There's no in between. There's also like this really nice woodiness. I sprayed this on at 7:30. It is now, what time is it? 5:56. And the one thing I love is this fragrance never disappoints as far as longevity or projection go. It projects quite heavily for the first 3 or 4 hours, and then it just kind of settles down into a nice, I wouldn't say skin scent. It does project about a foot off of your skin. You're not like leaving this long crazy trail. You're not filling up a room. It's just enough that you can really enjoy it throughout the day. I could see more men going for this one than women, just because of how bold it is, and I don't know a whole lot of women that are into very masculine leather fragrances. But if you were like dressed up and you felt really confident that day and you just wanted to kill it, then I would totally recommend putting this on. I wear it all the time, and it's also probably something that's better reserved for the cooler months. I live in Florida, so that happens like, what, 1 week a year? That doesn't really happen. I'm comfortable wearing this throughout the whole year. Obviously, if it's like 100 degrees outside, I'm probably going to spray very lightly on this one. Maybe 5 sprays as opposed to colder weather where I'd go 10 to 12. But it's definitely something that you want to go easy on, because as you can expect and you've come to love from Mancera, this one is a beastly fragrance. Again, I don't really agree with the description that they had on Lucky Scent saying that this is a fragrance that sometimes you want your fragrance to gently purr and sometimes you want it to howl. I feel like this one howls all the time. I don't really feel like it purrs. I suppose if you were to spray like maybe 1 spritz of it, it might purr. I don't know. So as far as pricing goes, I feel like this is a great value for your money, especially if you love strong leather fragrances. I picked up my first bottle of this. It was a little under half. I think it was like a quarter, and I paid, I want to say $30 or $40 for it. I got it on eBay. Nope, this person just didn't want it anymore, and it was a great opportunity for me to really try it out and see if it was something that I would like wear frequently, and it was, and it is. So I ended up purchasing a full bottle on Notino, I want to say just under a year ago, and I think I paid about $98, somewhere in that ballpark range. But I feel like it's a really great value for the money, because a little bit of this goes a really long way. I know I say that on a lot of fragrances, but this stuff is killer, okay? This is beastly, and it's never disappointed me as far as projection and longevity go. I get a full day's wear out of this, and you guys know that I have some really crappy sponge skin. So if you live in like a really cold region, or if you have skin that's similar to mine, then this is definitely one that you want to put on your list if you love leather. If you haven't tried it before and you're gonna give it a try, my only suggestion is don't pass judgment on this one. Like right when you put it on, give it some time to dry down and wear it a few times before you make your final decision, because like I said, a lot of people that I've shared this with have felt the same way, and they hated it at the beginning and then ended up falling in love with it like I did. I don't know why I don't hear a lot more people talking about it. I think I've only heard it maybe mentioned 1 or 2 other times. I've turned a lot of people onto it and they really enjoy it too. Again, I just feel like everybody's stuck on the same 4 or 5 fragrances, and it's driving me nuts. I don't know how you viewers out there can watch the same things over and over and over again. Like, I would protest, just saying. If I hear about Cedrat Bois one more time, I think I'm gonna cry. it's like Aventus. We get it. It's good. Let's move on, people. Can we talk about something else? So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions, put them down below. You know I love hearing from you. Have you tried it out? I'd love to hear your opinion because, again, I don't hear a lot of people talking about it at all. Till tomorrow, guys. Bye.